I made the leap from employee to self-employed thinking I was building a business. But what I quickly realized was that I didn't actually own a business. I just owned a job. In fact, I owned multiple. Like I was a remodeling contractor trapped in self-employment, overwhelmed and unsure how to break free. Look, I know this struggle well. I know it firsthand because I lived it.
Hello, this is the Hack Hour Podcast, a show where it's all about helping real, everyday, hardworking remodelers learn the secrets to having it all in life and business. And now, here's your host, Mike Minges.
When I first started hiring, I thought I just needed a second set of hands. I was drowning in work, running estimates day and night, right? Doing the work, handling invoices. I was answering customer calls, and I was putting out fires every day. So I figured, hiring some help would be a good solution. I thought I was smart. I hired young. I hired cheap guys, because I was like, I can't afford real talent, but these guys will do. I thought I just needed a couple extra hands, to make my life easier. I need some help unloading stuff. This guy could hold that while I'm doing this. It was all a big mistake. See, instead of lightening my load in a sense, I accidentally created an adult daycare center on the job site. 4 guys, all dependent on me for everything. I wasn't just working less, I was working more and putting out more fires than ever, because what had happened was it got compounded, right? This guy makes a mistake, that guy makes a mistake, this guy makes a mistake, then that guy makes a mistake based off of this guy's mistake. Man, at times it was chaos, right? Yeah, I had 4 employees, but I still had to make every decision. I had to still cut every check and solve every problem. And when I stepped away, everything fell apart. Right? It was sucking the life out of me. I wasn't a business owner. I was a stressed out, big time babysitter of grown adults. Now, I finally realized that change had to happen, and it was going to require me becoming the real leader, right? I had to be someone who could take the responsibility, make the decisions, and then free up my time so I could focus on the business. That's why I hired these guys, right? So I did. I finally made my first big hire. For those of you that have been following for a while, you'll know I went out and hired a true lead carpenter. Now, at the time, I didn't know how to properly hire a true lead carpenter. What I did was I got referred to a guy who had a neighbor who was looking for a job, who was a union trained carpenter and had worked for some large construction companies, and said, I'm a lead carpenter. So I went and jumped on it. I hired him. All right. It was hard to find good help. And what I did was I hoped for the best. And guess what? He was a dud. He talked a big game, but he couldn't actually lead. He had been out of the game for a little while, to be honest, and it was rough getting him back into it. See, I needed a working carpenter. I needed a guy that could lead others, but could also do the work and could effectively teach it if necessary. And I still had to micromanage this guy and show him how to do things. I can remember having to show him how to cut crown molding. And I looked and I said, whoa, wait a minute. I thought I hired a lead carpenter. What is going on? He's like, well, it's just been a little while. I was like, I don't know if you ever could figure it out. Anyway, I wasted months, thousands of dollars on the wrong hire. He wasn't a lead carpenter. At best, he was more of a helper, right? Maybe he was a carpenter, but not a lead carpenter. So here I am, and I'm right back where I started. In fact, I'm a little more stressed because I'm a little more overworked, and I'm even more frustrated. It came to a point where at times I was like, do I just give up on this thing? Maybe just hiring employees is just not my thing. Maybe I just need to sub everything out. So I want to give some of you hope, though. I did something different in this situation. Instead of focusing on so much what I wanted in a hire person, right? The person I'm going to hire, I just wrote down everything that hadn't worked before. And I realized that I knew more about what I didn't want than what I did. So this time, I built my hiring process based on, well, what are the exact skills? And also, what about the mindset? Like, what's this guy's personality, right? And what are my real expectations and not just things I'm hoping for? And how do I go about like testing their ability before hire them full time, right? What's the test period? So guys, look, after multiple failed hires, right? Hiring poorly, I did finally find the right lead carpenter. And when I did, everything changed. He could run jobs without me. He ran jobs better than me. He didn't need my constant supervision. He solved problems instead of creating them. And that was the moment that I truly started transitioning from being the self-employed contractor to a contracting business owner, a remodeler that had a business that could run without him. I could now put my lead carpenter on a job and he could run the ball from start to finish. It was amazing. And if you've experienced the latter where you're constantly having to babysit, it can be hard to even imagine what it's like to find an A player. But they're out there. All right, they are. And it just takes a different mindset and a different process to find them. So I understand it. Like, I get it. Most contractors, I was one myself. Right? You get stuck in this self-employment phase, and you do it because you end up, you hire the wrong people, right? You hire cheap labor instead of A players. I did it. I even hired like a neighbor. I was like a guy, he's like, he was unemployed. He's like, I'm looking for another job. And I'm like, this will be great, right? No, I mean, we start off with the wrong hire in the first place. No wonder it doesn't work, because we'll take whatever's available instead of saying, no, I'm going to look for the best. So anyway, I would try to save money in the beginning and low wages, but then you just lose the time because it's wasted time. You're paying the guy, he's making mistakes, so now you got to pay him to fix it, right? He's waiting on you for direction because he can't figure out anything on his own, right? So they're sitting around half the time. They're afraid to delegate. They don't know what to do. They don't trust their team. Hiring cheap is not the way to go. So you got to ask yourself, like, how do you fix it? So this is what I wish I had done from the start, is you write all the things down, right? Like, what is it that you want from the person in the role? What is it that you don't want? Make a list, divide it in 2 columns. Now, yeah, it's going to take some time. And for a lot of you, this is the crap that you hate doing. So maybe one day you're going to have to knock off a little bit early and go sit somewhere where you can focus and just, what's my ideal employee look like? What are all the things that he does for me, right? And for the business? Is he going to help me with estimating? Is he going to just do the project management? Is he going to help me with ordering materials? What about working with the customer? I don't know. You have to figure it out for yourself and how it works best for your business. What I found was I had my lead carpenter do as much as he could, right? So basically, once a job was sold, from when we went from sales to production, in my system, the lead carpenter took over everything. That's it. The homeowner now dealt with him. You want to do a change order? Talk to the lead carpenter. He'll figure it out for you. Oh, something's gone wrong? Talk to the lead carpenter. Everything's going great? Thank the lead carpenter. Okay? Everything falls back to the lead carpenter, or project manager, you may call them in your world, if they're not physically hands-on. So if you don't clearly define what you do and what the role of the person you're hiring will do, then you aren't going to be able to put a person in there, right? They're not going to be able to replace you because you don't even write down what you do. They're not going to know. The next thing you have to do, step 2, is pick like your first role that you're going to offload. Like for me, I decided I wanted a lead carpenter. I wanted someone who could run the job without me. That was going to free me up to now go out and I could start doing my estimates during the day. I wasn't going to keep working all these nights and weekends. Nope. I was going to work a regular job, hours, standard, 9 to 5, whatever. So from now on, I was going on sales appointments during the day. And that was a big switch. Okay. So for you, maybe you just need to hire a project manager. Maybe it's a carpenter. Maybe you need to hire your first office admin. These are all roles that someone eventually is going to fill if you're growing your business. So the first thing you got to do is just write down a real clear job description so that everyone knows exactly what they need to do. We have job descriptions here at the Remodeling Academy to help you, right? It's one of the things that we can work on with you in our coaching program. We can say, all right, let's come up with the things, and you just take the time. And in about an hour, you'd be shocked how much you can come up with. So step 3, you guys start looking for A players, not just any help, good help. Some of you know, I'll joke with you. I literally went and had a magnet made that said good help wanted and put that on the back of several vehicles. And till this day, I still can remember being stopped at certain intersections and having a guy get out of his vehicle, run up and knock on the door and say, hey, I saw your sign, good help wanted. I'm a great carpenter. I'm looking for another place to work. Because for whatever reason, there's a lot of talented people out there that don't like where they're working for one reason or another. And they would be very happy to find a place that they would love to work. All right. But you don't find good help if people don't know that that's what you're looking for. When you just put up help wanted signs, everyone, you know what people start thinking? They're like, must be a crappy place to work. They can't keep anyone there. You have to work on the mindset and shift things so that people recognize, like, we want a rock star. Like, we have a position open for one of the. Are you the best at your company? Well, let's see if you're going to be the best at ours. All right. So you recognize, stop looking for the cheap labor, pay more to get someone who can actually take the responsibility and run with the ball that you're giving them, right? A great hire will make you so much more money. They will not cost you money. You guys sit there and say, I can't afford that guy. I can't afford to pay him that. No, you're being too cheap because you're not making the investment. Your company will never thrive because you're not willing to invest in it, right? I can remember when I hired my third carpenter, it was right before I was getting ready to go on a vacation. And I'm looking in our payroll account and I'm like, I can't afford to hire this guy. And then I was like, you can't afford not to. In fact, you hire him right now, and in the next 2 weeks, you're going to figure out how to get him paid before his next. And it just required me going out and selling more jobs. But I knew I needed to invest in this guy. He was awesome, right? You have to make the move and stretch yourself and push yourself. And when you hire good people, then you can take on more work. See, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. Before I met with that guy, I didn't have to sell anymore. Like, I could, but I didn't have to. When I went and hired this extra lead carpenter because he was talented, now I had to sell more. I had a reason to go out, and the business was there all day long. Now, if you don't have a good marketing plan, then that may not work for you, but that's another problem you'll have to solve. All right, step 4. You got to trust, but you also have to verify, right? You have to give guys very clear responsibility. You have to set very clear expectations. We had a test period. I can recommend that strongly to any of you. If you do our Hire My First Employee program, we'll go through that with you, where you literally will hire someone on a trial basis. Now, every state law gets a little bit trickier, but in our state, we were an at-will, and you weren't. When you came to work for us in the beginning, it was not for full-time employment. You came to see the experience of what it would be like working for us. You got to trial us and we got to trial you. You could say, I don't know if I want to work there. And we could say, we don't know if we want you to work here, right? It worked both ways. So if you do this right, you'll figure it out and you'll see how it works, and you'll stop being the worker in your business, right? And you'll start being a real business owner. 5th thing to think about is the final thought, right? Guys, you want to fail and fail first, fail fast and learn, right? So hiring, it can be messy. You'll make mistakes. And the mistakes are necessary, right? This is how you learn what works. You have to come up with a framework where you go and build a system so that you go, well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen in this situation? Yeah, maybe I waste a week or two in some respect, time and energy that I put into it, all right? But if you have a proper hiring system where people come on and it's a trial basis, then you can theoretically start hiring people constantly just to find the best people. Like, who's going to be the best? Come on over. You want to try out? Perfect. We'll try you out. Let's see how it goes. Are you as good as you say you are? We'll find out. We'll find out next week. You start Monday, right? Come on in. And within a couple of days, we found it took 2 weeks because everyone can show up on time the first day, but usually within like 3 or 4 days, then the true colors start showing up. So it doesn't take long to find out who's good and who's not. It really doesn't. So look, guys, today's episode is a little quicker, a little bit shorter. I want you to understand that there is hope out there. You can do so much more with your business, and you don't have to do it on your own. All right, come on over to the Remodeling Academy. We're here to help you. We have systems in place, right? There are things here that will help you make a difference. And remember that there's really no one's going to just come out and save you and your business. The reality is that most contractors they never break out of self-employment. And it's not because they're not talented. It's just because they refuse to play offense. They refuse to go for it, right? They get stuck in fear, and they've made bad hires, they've gotten burned, and they decide it's easier just to do it all for themselves. And then they go on Facebook groups and tell everyone else, you don't want to do that. You just want to stay small. Best decision I ever made 25 years ago was I do it all myself. I don't need anybody. Great. Hey, if you know what though, deep down, what they're telling you and what they're not saying though is, I wished I would have. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to hire people. I couldn't figure out how to manage. So you know what? I just had to do it all myself. And you may carve out a nice career that way, but if you were trying to grow a business, then you're going to want to figure it out. So again, some guys are going to always tell you, I just can't find any good help. No one will ever care as much as I do. And employees, they're just more trouble than they're worth. But let me ask you then, where has this mindset gotten them? Where does it get you to have that mindset? Are you still out swinging the hammer 60 plus hours a week? I don't know. Probably, right? Are you still chasing cash flow constantly instead of like controlling it and knowing that it's not a problem? Are you still stuck at having to be on the job site all the time instead of being able to get back in the office and work on running the business? Guys, again, there's nobody that's going to just come and miraculously save you and your business, right? The economy is going to change. Materials are going to go up, right? Employees, they're going to come, they're going to go. But the winners in this industry, they're the ones that adapt, right? They figure out a system, right? They hire smarter, not cheaper. So the question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to just stay on this hamster wheel, right? Or are you going to step up and learn from your failures and finally build the business that doesn't always depend on you? Do me a favor, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you disagree? Tell me about it. Let's go. You ready to change your business? All right, put a hammer in there. Let me know you're ready to get going. Let's hear it. You getting fired up? Good. That means you're paying attention. So I welcome you to 2025. It's the year that remodeling is going to be great. You got to go out. You got to get it. You got to make it great. Let's all get to work together. And remember, as always, look, your success, it is out there for you. You just have to ask yourself, are you ready for it? And also, let's think about this for a second. If you've listened this far, then something I've said maybe has struck a nerve, or maybe you fell asleep and you just woke up. It doesn't matter. You're tired. I get it. But maybe you are questioning everything. Maybe you're thinking, I hear what you're saying, Mike. That stuff sounds great, but I can't do that in my market. Well, what if you could, right? What if the only thing stopping you is the way that you're looking at your business? Could be true, right? Maybe you're thinking the good help is impossible to find. But what if you've just been looking and you haven't been looking in the right places? What if it's been there the whole time, but you didn't know that, right? Maybe you believe, my business, it can't run without me, right? It's me. I have to be there. But what if you had the right system in place and you had the right people that could make it happen for you? Would you be intrigued? Are you curious? Maybe you're convinced nobody works as hard as I do. Maybe you're right. But what if there's someone out there that wants to work hard and would love to have a good job and would love to have a great employer? What if you've just been hiring the wrong people? Other people have good employees. Why can't you? You got to ask yourself. Look, if you're tired of being the one-man show, if you're tired of working yourself into the ground and ready to actually build something that runs without you, it's time to step up. Get yourself over, join the 5-day Remodeler Challenge. All right? Look, this is designed to show you exactly how to stop being the bottleneck in your business and grow it. Right? Look, there's no theory, there's no fluff. It's just the real, they're bankable tactics, right? And they're going to help you start getting going in the right direction. So if you are serious about making this year your breakthrough year, then you head over to Remodeling Riches right now and you sign up. All right? Promise you it'll be worth it. If you have any doubt at any time, you reach out to me personally. We can talk about it. All right? I can help you figure out what the problem is. So let's be honest. Right now, you're either building a business or you are actually stuck in a job that you created and you don't know how to get a promotion. All right. So which is it? I say get over to remodelingriches.com right now so that we can get you to the next phase where you are building a business. Come on, guys. It's fun owning a business. It's fun growing a business.
Thank you for listening to the Hack Hour podcast. It would be awesome if you would leave us a quick review on iTunes. To further your remodeling success, go to remodelingriches.com.